and him. So if y'all could mute your lines when you get on, that would be fantastic. Brian, I'm going to mute you. Okay, so I have the honor of talking about time management tonight. And hang on, I'm going to close this door. I'm so sorry, y'all. Okay, so we've all heard the saying, if it's important to you, you'll find the time, right? And I think we're probably all beyond that point. You know, I remember when I used to get approached all the time for this type of stuff. And I'd be like, are you kidding me? I'm busy. I got a full-time job. And, you know, but it's when you find something that you love and you're passionate about, all of a sudden you miraculously find the time to build your business. So, you know, by now we're probably all focused on being a great coach to the masses. So in other words, like effectively representing your brand on social media so that when the answer goes from not right now to yes, they pick you. Being a great coach to your customers, and then also being a leader and a team player. And that's a lot. That's way more than a power hour. So the $1 million question is, how do we find balance? And we had a speaker that spoke to us at Ignite pre-summit, and she gave us a lens to look at this through a different lens. So let's try and view balance differently. Instead of you thinking of it as like two scales that you're always, you know, trying to equal out, think of it more as a pendulum that swings back and forth. You know, our attention gets pulled in many directions. You know, say you have a kiddo that's needing extra attention. Of course, you're going to do what you got to do. And other areas are probably going to fall below a little bit, maybe suffer mildly. But the pendulum's always going to swing back in the other direction. So, I mean, it is what it is. I can't say that we're always going to be able to find balance. You know, it's kind of like the tides with the ocean or the pendulum of a clock, but you can always count on being able to, well, it's like whack-a-mole, you know? You get, you know, one thing done and then you got to get over here and plug this hole. But I am going to give you guys some really good tips on how to manage it. All right. So I think we all know that we're never going to be able to check everything off the list. And that's not always the most comfortable. So what do we do about that? All right, so first thing I want to talk about is the time that you spend on your business versus your personally sponsored coaches or your downlines business. So who here has heard of the 80-20 rule? Pretty much everyone. Okay, good. So in pharma, it was always applied. You know, 80% of your business is going to come from the top 20% of your customers. So I lived in my top accounts. That actually should be applied to how you're splitting your time as well. Believe it or not, 80% of your time should be spent on your business and growing your business. So always connecting with new people, networking, because this is a network marketing business, right? Always inviting to try Shakeology, to join a free group, join a challenge group, join your team. So I understand that most of us, you know, most of you on the call are new at leading a team in a business like this. So initially it's probably going to be fairly skewed, but just always keep in mind that your business comes first. So how do you structure your day? What, you know, here's how it works for me. And I'm going to share some of my struggles that I've gone through recently. But I have an outline that I'm following just so I don't like blah, 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 and say I'm through the whole call. All right. So every Sunday I sit down and I write out my to-dos. Some of them are critical. Some of them, there's going to be consequences if I don't do it. And some of them are, it would be nice if I got this done, but I make a to-do list and it kind of looks like a wish list. All right. And then I write out my schedule for each day of the week. All right. And I, like an example, tomorrow, I'm up at 5:30 in the morning. Actually, tomorrow I have to get up at 5:15. I'll do my Bible study and I'll do my journal. And then 5:45 a.m. I push play because my girlfriend Amy has to be at work early tomorrow. Take my shower, get ready, take Delaney to school. And then 8:45, I have written down invites, connects. I have a YouTube tutorial that I want to do on Beachbody On Demand, blah, 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 blah. 12 o'clock, I have written down that I'm going to do a live video. I'm going to do it. It's on my list. And so on and so forth. But every day of the week, those 5 days of the week, I take a look at my wish list and I plug those items in. Okay. So like my virtual assistant emailed me recently and she's like, hey, I picked up on these blog posts that you have. There's some typos. That's on my list, but that's not critical. And so I'm like, all right, I'll get to it. It's on the list, but it's certainly not going to be at the top because there's no consequences to me not finishing that. So I always make sure that I eat the biggest frogs before I move on to some of the other tasks. And I stick to it. But here's the thing. I've not always done this. And I am going to tell y'all a story tonight in hopes that you can relate in some way and be able to walk away with some concrete ideas to incorporate for your business and managing your time more effectively, making sure that you put the time that you do have, the limited time that you do have towards, more revenue increasing activities. So before I do that, let me ask, so what's the most important of our 4 vital behaviors? And y'all can take yourselves off mute. And I'm just going to let it be awkward. Someone's going to need to speak up.
Inviting?
Inviting, yes. Why is that?
Because if we don't invite, there's no growth.
Correct.
So there's no way to get new people. There's no way to build.
Okay, and so that's right. Perfect. So what's another, and Stephanie, you can put yourself on, thank you. So what's another non-negotiable to having a thriving business with Beachbody?
Being a product of the product.
True, but what's like non-negotiable by the 30th or the 31st of every month?
SC Club.
Yes! Hitting Success Club. Okay. Thank you, Barbara, for speaking up. So I don't remember what group it was in, but like Patty and Kim and some other super smart coaches did some YouTube videos on why they always hit Success Club. And Kim's video always stands out in my head. And I remember she said it comes down to your list, consistency, and follow-ups. And if I got those wrong, Kim, I'm sorry, but I think that's what you said. Yeah, she gave me thumbs up. I get an A. So I can't tell y'all how many customers I've lost to not following up. And it's not because I didn't want to. I mean, I just wasn't organized enough. All right, but in terms of inviting leads to Success Club, here's the thing, and I want y'all to listen carefully to this quote. We actually talked about this on a Diamond call recently. It's a small amount of people willing to tolerate discomfort that are successful over the long run. People don't like to be uncomfortable. They don't. But if you want to succeed in this business, as Lindsay Matway said at the Dynasty Live, you got to do a lot of things you don't like doing so you can do all the things that you love to do. Totally makes sense. But it truly is the people that are willing to be uncomfortable and step out of their comfort zone that are really going to succeed. And that brings me to this. The first thing that you should do every day is spend time on the revenue increasing activity. That most important vital behavior that we talked about, and that's inviting. So, it's not checking email, it's not scrolling on Facebook. Oh, thanks, Kim. There we go. Not checking in on your challenge groups, not doing a training video for this group. It should be inviting and connecting. But it's also one of the hardest, okay? It's overwhelming. You know, that part, the part that maybe we don't want to do on the days that we don't feel like it, or we're having a bad day, or maybe, you know, your kid made you mad or whatever. So why am I saying all this? So when I first started coaching, I didn't really have to invite per se. You know, people truly just came to me. I was already branded for health and fitness. My first full month as a coach, I had so many people, I didn't know what the hell to do with them all. I'm not kidding. I lost some potential lifers during that time period. So my point is that for me, I didn't necessarily need a system in the beginning, and I regret that. You know, my warm market got smaller. It's still there. But if I scroll through my friends list, hands down, the first 150 people that I go across are either coaches, people that are now already drinking Shakeology, or people that have bought from me and like went down like the Titanic because they thought I was going to come cut their vegetables for them. So how does one go about a power hour when it was truly overwhelming for me. All right, y'all, August 31st, you know, all of August, we're pushing for the health bet. I went to bed the night of August 31st, and I had a huge pit in my stomach. I was so pissed off at the results that I had during August. All right, I started the month at -2, and I ended the month at 6. And I worked way harder than SC6. My goal for the month was to hit 10 and then push orders to Tom. And I fought and scrapped for the 6 that I got. And I was like, and you know, here's the thing, like ever since we got back from Summit, I was so laser focused and disciplined. I woke up every morning, I did my journal, I set my intentions for the day, I wrote out my schedule and I stuck to it. I wasn't leaving my business hours to chance. I absolutely was doing what I had to do. But in this business, not only do you have to go deep with people, but you have to go wide. And I definitely had not gone wide enough. You know, in this business, no does not mean no. No means not right now. So people are either a yes or a not right now. But I'm not in the business for talking people into wanting to get fit. Like, I'm looking for the people who are ready. And some just aren't ready to pull the trigger by the 30th or 31st, you know? And so it's so important to expand. And I hadn't expanded enough, even though I was truly working on that. I tried using, and let me tell you, for 2 months, I would write in my journal, and in the journal, it's like, what are 3 things that would happen today that would make your day great? And every damn day I wrote, if I could just figure out a way to track stuff, like that was my day. And the journal says, like, make sure it's something that you have control over. Like, don't say it'll be a great day if it doesn't rain, because I can't control that. But I did have control over how I was spending my time and how I was spending my time, really. And so I said, that's it, you know, because I tried using Asana. I tried one-page CRM. I tried paper. You know, I know Patty uses paper and it works great for her. I had notebooks everywhere with names in them, and I was like, I was missing people. So all of that was just one big mind beep for me. So I woke up on September 1st, and I was like, no more. You know, on Saturday, September the 3rd, I set up, for me, I decided to use Teamzy, which, you know, some people don't go towards because it's on the pricier side of CRMs. But when I watched the videos, it clicked for me. And, you know, when I come into my office every morning, the first thing I do is I pull up Teamzy and I start working on my tasks. I do my connects. I follow up with the assigned number of customers. I reach out to the assigned number of coaches. I do my invites. I do my follow-ups. And it's done in like 45 minutes. And I'd sit there for like 2.5 hours before, because I'd be scrolling, trying to figure out, who do I want to talk to? And I remember, you know, and just today, I got to 4 people in a row. I pull up their name. And then I go to Facebook and I look and I was like, this is not ever going to be one of my customers. They share, all they share is junk or whatever, whatever your own personal criteria is. I deleted 4 people in a row because I'm like, this isn't going to be worth my time. And it just was so liberating. I was like, oh my gosh, I have a system. This is amazing. So, and I will say that I've had more people come across my news feed in these last few weeks since I've been doing it. And I truly believe that it's because I've been branching out and have done a better job of diversifying who I'm talking to, who I'm connecting with, who I'm messaging. I have almost 2,900 friends. No wonder why it would, it's, even if you have 500 friends, imagine trying to figure out, like, who do I talk to next outside of who has liked my posts, who's commented on my posts. Because when you do that, a lot of times you find it's the same people over and over again. So one of the advantages for me finding a system is I found that I don't really need a power hour anymore. I can do power pockets without having to sit down and figure out, okay, who am I going to talk to now? You know what I mean? So my message to you tonight is, just like a teacher doesn't teach without a lesson plan, a quarterback does not ever call the snap without knowing the play. Pharmaceutical rep does not manage their territory without a routing. You need a system. If you don't have a system and you feel like you're spinning your wheels or you don't have enough time in the day, then you need a North Star. And if you don't have one, you need to get one. I wish someone had grabbed me and shaken me until my teeth rattled and said, Tracy, get a system. I can't tell you how many times Patty'd be like, get your list. I'm like, yes, I have my list, but it's overwhelming. This just takes the overwhelm out of the equation. And I just feel like a new woman. So scheduling out your week, writing down your weekly and your daily goals. I did find, Lindsay Matway had mentioned this on our call, and I actually do plan on ordering one, plannerpads.com. They have some really cool day timers, like where you can, on the top line, you would write out your wish list for the week, like what all you want to do. And then you can prioritize and put them in categories, and just helps you kind of visualize everything. So I actually am going to use one of those myself. But always doing your vitals first. Always doing your invites and your connecting before you take time to work on a pretty graphic, before you start scrolling, before you check into your challenge groups. You got to get down to business and put your time where it's going to grow your business. And then the rest will truly fall into place. Do you have any questions? It was that good, huh? I told you everything?
I have one.
Alrighty.
When you go through your when you're finding people, is that what you're doing, is just going to your friends list and going down and just seeing the next person you haven't contacted?
Hang on, my screen just got weird. What did I do? Okay, what was the question?
So you're just going like through your Facebook friends list and kind of bringing on anybody you haven't talked to and put them on your list, and you're doing that funnel with each of those?
Well, I mean, that's what I was trying to do before, and that's what would get me so hung up and overwhelmed. So what I did was I decided to use a CRM. What does that stand for? CRM. Customer, Patty, you know, don't you? It's like a
Customer Resource Manager.
Thank you, Miss Mitchell. Yeah, so in Teamzy, you actually download your entire friends list and then you upload it into, and Teamzy was made by Beachbody coaches. And so there are a couple things I like about the program. Like when you first start to set it up, you write out your why, and then you write out your financial goals, and based on your financial goals, it will tell you how many connects to do each day, how many invites to do each day. And then you also can rank people from 1 to 5, so that if they're a 5, then that's important. And so it's going to put them into that funnel more often. And then you can put down like your connects. It can, you'll choose like it was a private message, it was an email, it was a text message or a phone call, and put notes on that person, whether it was an invite or not. And so it's just written in the Beachbody language. And it was just really easy to use.
Yeah, that sounds awesome.
I mean, look into your own. I mean, you don't have to use Teamsy, but if there's anything that I want y'all to take home tonight is do something. Get a system. I wish I'd had one earlier. Coulda, shoulda, woulda, though. Hindsight is always 20/20. Anything else? Shall I pass the baton?
That was awesome, Tracy.
Thank you, Miss Patty. Awesome. Everything is awesome. Okay, I'll put myself on mute.
Thank you so much. Okay.
Okay, I'm going to talk real quick about vision and goals. So when you think about your vision, you need to dream big, okay? Because the only limits that are going to be on you are the ones that you put on yourself. I'm curious, out of all these beautiful faces, who has visualized and actually thought about where you're going to be in the next 5 or 10 years with this business? Okay, good. Great. So I want to do something that we did at the Ignite event. Miguel did this with us, and it really kind of opened my eyes to, my goals and dreams and how to get there and what was going to hold me back. So does everyone have something to write with? I want you to pull out a pen and paper. Those of you who did it at Ignite, you can do it again if you want to. So I want you to draw a big circle on the paper. And in the middle of that circle, I want you to write your top 2 or 3 goals for this business. Big goals. Not next week goals, but in 5 years where you're going to be with this opportunity. So I'll share with you mine are to be a 15-star diamond, elite coach, and to retire myself and my husband and our parents. Now, on the outside of that circle, I want you to write down 4 to 5 fears you have for the business, struggles. Write down any excuses that you're making, anything that holds you back, any hurdles that you're going to have to jump over to get to those goals. Now, when we did this, we wrote down a lot more than 5, but since we're on a Zoom call, I wanted to keep it a little bit shorter. Your fears could be what people are going to think of you, people judging you, if you have support, if you don't have support, giving in to being tired and having a busy day, things like that. It's always good to recognize these things, because when you recognize your fears and struggles, it's easier to find a way to overcome them. Now, the second part, draw another circle. You're going to have the same goals written inside that circle, but this time on the outside, you're going to write who helps you reach those goals. Who's there to support you and offer advice? Who helps you grow? Who believes in you? How do you feel when you get those goals? What do you achieve when you're at that point? Are you healthy? Are you happy? Are you encouraged? I want you to write down all the positives, at least 5. So I can tell you that coaches who succeed in this business have a clear vision of what they want, and they've set clear goals. So does anybody want to share any of the struggles or any of the positives with their vision in the circle? I know I shared a couple of mine.
I put for fears, not knowing enough about the business yet. I mean, not knowing enough about nutrition and diet. That's been a big obstacle for me, and fear of rejection. And also my own excuses, coming up with excuses of not doing it, talking myself out of it.
Yeah.
Big hurdles.
I have the same thing of just kind of being concerned about reaching out to new people and kind of throwing them off, or not inviting them in a good way to kind of get them engaged, or just kind of losing those people or losing some friends. And I definitely struggle with time management and my excuses of, even though I know it probably takes like 5 minutes for me to sit down and just reach out to a couple people. It's been a long day. It's 10 o'clock. I feel done, you know. I want to be so financially free. Like, that is my biggest thing right now, is just getting debt out of my life. And that is my biggest goal right now. It's just finding that financial freedom. That'd be huge.
Yeah, that's a good one. That's a big one. I think that's probably a lot of our whys, or used to be some of our whys, you know, because the reason you come in this business is freedom, financially, physically, emotionally. There's so many different ways you can be free. And, you know, when you have a clear goal and a target, then you can stay focused on it. Because if you don't know where you're going, you can't get there. You know what I mean? If someone tells you to get in the car and drive, but they don't tell you where you're going, you're just going to drive around. It's the same with coaching. If you don't know what your goal is, then you'll never figure out how to get there. So I've wrote down some notes that I keep looking at. So apologies for that. But when you think about your why and where you want to be and how you want to be successful, when you can focus on that and your why, then it's easier not to get derailed by life. Because I know for me personally, I work full-time 8 to 5 as an interior designer. And then I volunteer for the Junior League. I'm president of the Junior League, so that's like a full-time job with 100 emails a day and committees and fundraisers and all that stuff. And then I have coaching. I'm a mom to one, you know, wife and family duties. So there's a lot going on, and it's very easy for me to come home and, you know, same as you, Stephanie, I'm tired. It's 10 o'clock, Reagan finally went to sleep, and I really don't want to go do my power hour. But I think about the debt I have, the credit card debt and the student loan debt, and, you know, things that I want to do with Reagan and provide for her that I didn't have growing up. And I allow it to make me mad and get me, you know, driven to sit here for an hour and actually get inviting done. And then I'm super tired, but how do you feel when you're done? You know, when you've sent those invites out and you know you're going to wake up to 10 or 20 messages in your inbox the next morning. You know, that's just a very rewarding feeling, and it helps keep you motivated. So when you're clear on what you want and your vision and where you want to go in this business, you have to set SMART goals. How many of you have heard of that term, SMART goals? I know most of the coaches, older coaches probably have. So I'm going to kind of go over SMART goals real quick, what each letter stands for, because it's really helpful when you're setting small goals and baby steps to get to the bigger goal and the bigger vision for your life. If you break it up, it's easier to manage. So S stands for specific. You have to be specific on where you're going, who's involved in reaching that goal, what you're going to do to get to that goal, when you're going to do it. You've got to be specific on what struggles you might face and be specific on why that goal is important to you. So if reaching diamond, which hopefully everyone here is already diamond, or 2-star diamond, if that's a specific goal for you, you can be clear on how you're going to get there. M stands for measurable. So you have to be able to measure the progress. And if you can measure the progress of that goal, you're going to stay focused. For example, if we want to lose weight, you can measure that in inches and pounds. Same with if your goal is to get a 2-star diamond, you can measure that by your downline, your coaches and their success, and you can see that in your back office. Now, a SMART goal might not be 15-star because that's a lot harder to measure and it's a little bit longer to get there. So if you set it in baby goals, you see what I mean? It's easier to measure and track. The A for SMART goals stands for, that was really country, I apologize. The A stands for being attainable. So an attainable goal would be completing a program from start to finish. You know what I mean? That's easy to do. But an attainable goal might not be to lose 30 pounds doing 21-day fix, because you can't do that in one round. Maybe some people can, but it's not as attainable as saying, I'm just going to finish the program and then seeing what happens. Now, if you have a goal to lose 30 pounds, that's a very realistic goal. You just have to set time a little bit differently. Now, R stands for being realistic with your goals. It has to be something that you're able and willing to do, something that you're willing to work for. So if being a 15-star diamond is part of your vision, then you need to set SMART goals to advance to diamond 15 times, because that's a lot easier to do than just think, oh my God, I want to be a 15-star diamond, but how do I get 15 diamond coaches? Just focus, you know, like Shay recently said, hit emerald and then hit emerald again and then hit emerald again, you know, and you're going to get to diamond. So just keep thinking that way, the baby goals, and you'll get there. You know, it's going to compound over time. And then the last letter, T, stands for timely. You want to give yourself a deadline. So without a time frame, then there's really no urgency or motivation for you to get your goals. So if you say you want to be 15-star, but you don't say and how long, you know, then each year is going to go by and you might be advancing, but it's going to be slow and steady. Now, if you have the vision to be 15-star in 2 years, then you're going to work your booty off to keep getting diamond, 2-star, 4-star, you know what I mean? So I encourage you, when you think about your vision, to really take the time to do it. There's a lot of YouTube videos where you can visualize, they walk you through, talk you through it, you close your eyes and you think about how things will feel when you get there, how it's going to taste to you. You know, they go through the senses. Can you hear the joy in your kids' voices when you tell them, I'm going to be home with you and I'm going to walk you to the school bus every day. I'm going to be at every baseball game, every ballet class. You know, can you feel the hands on the steering wheel of your new car? You know, visualization is a new topic for me. You know, it's something interesting that we did at Ignite, and it actually had me crying. I don't know if anyone else who was there cried when we did that, but it was for real. So it really helped me get motivated and stick to my goals, my SMART goals and vision. So does anyone have any questions on setting goals or vision, or anyone want to share what their goals are? If you have your vision, has anyone made a vision board before, whether digitally or, you know, on paper?
Me.
Yeah.
I do mine as a private Pinterest board because I have these like grandiose ideas that I'm going to do a big, huge dream board, and it's going to be glamorous, and it's going to be in my bedroom where I see it every day, and I've never done it. And I started collecting these magazines because I don't know why. I like won this free lifetime subscription. I didn't really win it. I just received these Men's Health and like People magazine and all these Spanish speaking ones, but they're like really glamorous. So I've been keeping them and like ripping out pages and thinking, yeah, I'm going to make this excellent vision board, but it's never turned out. So So I found on Pinterest, and I just made it private because it's personal, that I can plug things on there and have it how I want it to look and remove stuff and add to it. And so that's what I personally do, and it's worked really well for me. But, you know, that some people are like really super organized and able to follow through with the big dream board, and I really envy those people.
Yeah. So do you look at that then if you're on Pinterest all the time? I'm sure it's in front of your face. So you see it,
Yeah.
you're reminded daily.
Yeah.
Yeah. Okay. Well, I encourage you, if you have not done a vision board, whether you're pulling things out of a magazine or if it's on the computer, you can take images from Google and paste them in Paint, multiple images, and create a little vision board digitally, or you can use any of our apps on our phone and make a screensaver, so you see it every day and you remind yourself every day of why you're doing this. So when the days get hard and tough and you're tired and you don't want to do it, you're reminded why. Okay, well, if there's no questions on that, Tracy, question?
So I've never been great at like writing out goals. I think in pharma, the goals were always so confusing that I just was like, whatever, I'm just going to go out there and do my thing and hope for the best. Do you review your goals often? Like, do you read through them once a week, or just curious, like how you're able to keep them front and center? Because they're obviously super.
Yeah. So I have the big goals, and then I kind of backstep and break it down to smaller goals. And I have monthly goals, like SC goals would be a monthly goal. A number of coaches I want to sign up would be a monthly goal, but then I also have weekly goals. I've set that I want to help at least 2 people a week, you know what I mean, get started with a challenge pack. So if I break it down, it's easier for me to manage and still hit the big goals. Weekly, I have to, kind of like you say, you schedule out what you're going to do. That's similar to setting small goals, because if you don't do those things in your week, you're not going to get to the bigger goals, So one thing early on in the business, and I can't remember who did it with us, they talked about, it's kind of in the recruiting 20 people in 30 days mindset. If you look at where you want to be and you just break it down and backwards, like if you were to assign people, it's worth this much money, and then these people are going to work and they'll rate me advance. Yes, I review my goals weekly and monthly, mainly because life's so stressful right now that I have to remind myself of why this is important and why I need to sit down here and work. Like I just looked at our goals from Summit, that I wrote down 10 things I wanted to get done and realized that I had actually done 5 of them, so now I'm reminded of the other 5 that I need to continue working on. So I think it's important to review it. You don't want to set it and forget,
In Chalene Johnson's book, 30 Day Push, she talks about every week, the same day, the same place, to write 10 goals. And that you'll weed out what's not really important or what you're really striving for, but you also keep your, genuine goals front and center. And so you're always staying focused on the end goal. And then when you achieve those goals, you raise the bar to the next goal, So I set a reminder in my phone to go off every Thursday to set my next 10 goals.
Yeah, that was a great one. I like 30 Day Push.
And then she talks about reverse engineering it, pick it apart. And somebody just recently, I think it was on the Dynasty call, said, it was almost like she made the reverse engineer even more robust by saying, now ask 20 questions that apply to that goal. Like, how will I achieve that? What does it take? What do I need to do? What's standing in my way? and then you start really thinking about, so now you got your surface questions, and now you go deeper to get to that 20 mark of how you really will accomplish that and get to that goal.
Yeah, Shalene's awesome.
Thank you, Marissa.
Yeah. And next we have Patty to talk about motivation.
What gets us motivated, but what I'd love to talk about is what kind of gets us stuck. And I think we've all been there, where we feel this lack of motivation, where we just get up one day and go, I just don't want to do it. And it's one of those mindsets, and I'm just going to relay a personal experience. Recently, we went on vacation for my daughter's wedding to the Upper Peninsula of Michigan, and I took my foot off the gas the entire time, which is the first time I've ever done that in 2.5 years that I've been a Beachbody coach. Through my dad's stroke, through his hospital visits, through the pneumonia, through going to visit him every single day, I've never taken my foot off the gas. And I had this panic attack when I came back, and I was so panic stricken that I hadn't done my vital behaviors for 8 days, and business building vital behaviors. I still drank my shake and did my workout and posted it a little bit on Facebook, but I didn't do those business building vital behaviors. That my motivation the panics almost overcame the motivation. And I can usually motivate myself pretty much every day. Tracy knows that. Julie knows, people that know me well know that I can just get up and just do what has to be done. But I was almost panic stricken, and I'm like, how am I going to get myself motivated again? And you guys all just touched on it. I reviewed my goals. I reviewed my why, how the heck I'm going to get there. I got out my lists, and I said, I'm going to attack this list like it's my freaking job. No one's going to stop me. No one's getting in my way. I put my blinders on. It took me a couple of days to get in that mindset. But when I did it, I was like, okay, I got my mojo back. And sometimes you just have to act as if you've got that mojo. It's not easy. Some days you wake up, not everybody wakes up and it's like, I'm getting my workout in and I'm going to get my, it just doesn't happen. So it's one of those things where you have to, and I just love how you guys led into that, because being organized is motivating as heck, because you can check off those goals and check off your to-do list. Setting the goals, like Marissa said, and looking at your vision and checking everything off, that is motivating as heck. So I just started basically doing that after almost 9 days of taking my foot off the gas. So it's possible. I mean, I was looking at SC6 when I came back and hit SC12, but here's the thing, I reached out to so many people those last 5 days that I hit SC10 the first 5 days of this month because of that big push, just taking the blinders and just saying, you know what, this is worth it. I reviewed my why again. I reviewed it. So every day you should review your why, shift it. If it changes, shift that why. What's your why today? Is it different than it was 2.5 years ago? Mine is. Reach out to somebody. If you need help, reach out. I've had success partners in here. We reach out to each other all the time and say, help me, I'm stuck. Kick me in the booty. If you can't do it yourself, ask a friend. That's what we're all here for, right? Just do that. The other thing I do, and this is just a real quick tip, and this might sound silly to some of you guys, but that whole act as if thing, it does work. So I spend, and I've talked to Julie about this, I spend sometimes 10 minutes just chilling when Jim's watching TV, and I look for motivational quotes that speak to me. I just look for things from Steve Jobs or anything that just pulls to me, and I save it, and I make a cute graphic, and I have a place where all those posts are, and I wake up in the morning and I say, what do I need today? What does my heart need? What does my head need? What does Patty need today? And I look through those quotes, and many times I'll post it on my wall and say what it means, thinking that it's going to motivate somebody else, but in reality, I'm doing it for me. And so when you see stuff out there about whatever, it's actually talking to me. I have 150, 200 of them, I don't know, but it works for me. When I wake up and I say, okay, I'm not feeling this. I have 4 appointments back to back. I'm just not feeling it today. I know I'm going to come home and I'm going to, do an hour of work before Jim gets home. How am I going to get through this? So I don't know if that makes any sense to you guys, but if you act as if you're motivated, it works. And if you're not, call a friend and have them kick you in the butt and they'll motivate you, right? Call me. I'm a good motivator. I'll say, come on, Tracy, get that list out. How many people are on that list? All right, I'm a preacher. I've got pages of motivational tips. Pages and pages and pages and pages. They're awesome. So instead of reading all these to you tonight, like a teacher, because I'm not a teacher, I'm more of a preacher, I can condense them and put them in the files if you guys want in the group. Then you can read them at your leisure, and if you like it, highlight it and say, yep, that's me, that works for me. Nah, that one I already do, because I don't want to. But one thing that I thought was interesting too that I read was the difference between, and I'm sure most of you guys know this, intrinsic motivation and extrinsic motivation. Does everybody know the difference between those two? I found that very, very interesting, how one of the motivations is what's inside you, and all your rewards are internalized, and it's what motivates you. You don't need external motivation. You don't need someone to say, "Atta girl, you did a great job," or see your name on the SC board, or get that paycheck. It's stuff that drives you internally. It's all linked to your values. And I'll post that too, because I just think it's a great, just a quick little read, but I found it very interesting. So I would like to know something from a couple coaches, and I hope you guys will chime in. I want to know what motivates you. What is one thing that keeps you going, that pushes you through the tough stuff? Anybody want to say? I'd love to hear it.
Paying my mortgage.
That keeps you going, motivates you, right?
Right now, it's money. I mean, we are on the brink of being uncomfortable. So, I mean, for me, that's, can I pay my bills this month? Okay, maybe not. So I need to work harder.
Oh, that's a great motivation.
That's a big one right now.
Awesome. Thank you. I love it. Any other motivating factors that keep you going through the tough stuff?
So I got a message from a challenger. We're 1 week in. Yesterday or Sunday was 7 days, and she messaged me yesterday. She said, I know you have access to my stats on the challenge tracker. Go look at them and message me. And she has already lost 7.5 pounds. And that just, like, it made my day. It re-energized me for the week. I was like, this is working. I know it works, but then when you don't get those challengers that get results, it's demotivating. And so that was like a pinnacle moment for me. I was like, yes, we're getting some results.
That's awesome. Yeah, we actually had one in our group that lost over 10 in 7 days.
That's amazing.
Hillary and I, 10 pounds in 7 days.
That's crazy.
I know, it's so exciting. Does anybody else have something that pushes them past and motivates them that they want to share? No?
I was just going to share, Patty, just right along with what you just said. I get such motivation out of seeing the changes in our challengers, of seeing the changes in just people that have started on 21-day fix or have just started walking and they never did, especially people that are my age or even older and have never really taken care of themselves, never really taken time for themselves. That's what motivates me. When I see people making changes and getting results, that's just, I don't know. There's just sometimes no words. So.
I agree. That's awesome. All right, guys, that was, Barbara, yay, go, Barbara.
It was great. Last week, my 16-year-old daughter said, Mom, I am so glad that you are taking better care of yourself so that I know how to eat right and take care of myself better. I mean, how much better is that? Just to know that I am setting the example for my family and just so many friends it's just made such a difference in their life that just keeps me going too. Days when I don't want to do it, I'm tired, I would like to sleep into it. That just keeps me going, knowing that they are looking to me.
That's awesome. Those are great. Thank you guys for sharing. Wow, what an awesome call. Tracy, way to kick it off. Fabulous. And Marissa, those are great tips. You guys have any other questions while we're all still here? No? We're good? Oh, Barbara, go ahead.
Marissa, what was the R in your SMART again? I had my daughter heading to bed and I missed that one.
Realistic.
Realistic.
Realistic. Thank you.
All right, guys, are we good? Anybody else want to say good night? Good.
Thank y'all for being here.
Thank you so much.
Thank you guys. Good night.
Bye.
Bye.
Thank you.